Hello there, I'm Daz. Today I'm going to be making a walkthrough of Alftand, which is right there on the world map. There we have Winterhold and there Dawnstar. And I'm going to be playing through the first part of the quest, Discerning the Transmundane. I'm going to be working my way through Alftand, down into Blackreach. I'll quickly race through Blackreach and head towards the Tower of Mzark, which is the destination to transcribe the lexicon for Septimus Signus. So this is going to be quite a long one. I'd best not hang around here too long. So before I head inside Alftand, I just want to point out an adept locked chest right there. I'm not going to bother picking that. We also have an expedition manifest. So some folks have been here before us. We have a list of party members. I will actually point out all of these guys as we stumble upon them. What am I doing? I want to take that. Okay. So, just over there in the distance is Alftand Ruined Tower, which is a separate location but unmarked on the map. You can walk around and enter through that top doorway. There is also an entrance down there. You will find some decent loot over there, including the Lesser Ward Spell Tome, which is right on the lower level. So I'll be trying to keep this moving at a decent pace. As it is such a large ruin. Lots of Dwarven constructs lying around, a good source of soul gems, Dwarven oil, and Dwemer scrap. We have some more here. I'm not going to bother looting any of these. We have our first chest. I'm going to do my best to point out all of the chests in this place. This bars the way to an elevator, which leads right down to one of the lower levels. I'll reveal that once we get round there. And we're going to deal with our first enemy. So I'm actually wearing muffle boots, which means some of these dwarven spiders may not trigger as I walk past. So you may see me whacking my sword against objects just to alert the enemies. I'd rather deal with them. Just before heading down there, we have a chest in this little alcove. And an apothecary's satchel. Excuse me. So here is one of the party members.
Another of the smooth skins looking for food? This one must...
In fact, two of the party members, Jazar and Jadar. There is another journal, Jazar's journal. I'll take that as well. Jazar's pack. Okay. So, more spiders. Solid Dwemer metal, which can be melted down at a smelter to create dwarven ingots, as we can with that also. Okay, I'm quite overpowered, so I should be able to slice through these enemies without too much trouble. There is some gas down in that corridor. I'll ignite that now, just to save being burned alive a little later on. Okay. Right, I messed that one up. Finally. So we have another couple of chests up here. Okay. And some other stuff. Dwarven metal ingots. And gems and potions. Okay. Right, plenty of scrap lying around. And in here we have another couple of chests. Lots of lockpicking to do at this location. We have an apprentice locked chest and an adept locked chest. I'm not going to bother picking those, it's just going to be random loot. I'd better go to the local map. I'll try and remember to do this at intervals. There is more gas down here, so be careful if you have a flame spell equipped. An adept locked chest right there. An open chest here with a trap right next to it. These boots of muffle are working really well. So just some leveled potions in here. This room, going back to the local map. Contains a big metal dude. He never heard me coming, obviously. Okay, so an open chest there. More Dwemer scrap for smelting. Yep, there always seems to be a blacksmith potion there. So we need to get by these without being shoved back down to the previous area. Right, there's another spider over there. I'm going to ignore him. Sometimes he can follow us into the next area. So I'll just make sure he doesn't spawn in. Okay, so we are now in Alftand Animonculory. That is a bit of a mouthful. An open chest and also a Falmer helmet, in case anyone is looking for one of those. Okay, so head under here to discover another party member. Here we have Endrast. There is Endrast's journal. Endrast is a wood elf, so for the second part of this quest you're going to need to collect a bunch of blood samples, and you can use Endrast here as the wood elf blood sample. So we have an adept locked chest there as well. You can actually collect 4 of the 5 blood samples in Alftand for the second part of this quest, but it's best to return here quite quickly, otherwise I think some of the corpses despawn. So be careful heading up here. If we trigger these traps, we're going to have some very dangerous spinning blades. Okay, I'm going to make a quick save right now. Just in case of any nasty accidents. So before heading down this ramp, another spider and another novice locked chest. Okay, so eventually I'm going to be dropping down there, which is a point of no return. So first we'll want to explore this little area. So we can check out another chest, an open chest this time. And if you can get through this expert locked gate, we have 2 more chests, an open chest there, and a master locked chest here. So I'm not going to bother picking that. In fact, I will actually, because this sometimes contains madness ore or amber, but it does not today. So it's obviously quite random. We also have a lockpicking skill book, The Locked Room. I must have read that one already. It's hard to keep track when you're switching between different characters. So dropping down, we have another of the party members from the expedition. This is Yag, an orc warrior. So she can be used for the orc blood sample. Need to be careful here, because this thing is going to want to push us off. But we have this chest. I'll jump over that just to be certain. And now we are heading down and need to deal with a bunch of these fellas. This is where I'm very glad that I am running an OP character. You can actually skip a lot of this area if you have the Become Ethereal shout. I forgot to mention about that tripwire there. Yeah, if you have the Become Ethereal shout, you can actually drop down right from the top all the way down to the floor down there. Obviously, I don't want to do that for a walkthrough video. Right, I'll deal with him in just a moment. We have some more Dwemer scrap right there, if anyone is collecting that, to build up a stockpile of Dwarven ingots to level smithing. Okay. So I'm collecting some of the Dwemer scrap, but I'm not going to get too obsessed about it. A collection of ingredients and an alchemy lab. More Dwemer scrap there. I don't think there's anything else really here. More scrap. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with another 3 Falmer. You can light this oil to give you a little bit of assistance, and you can skip the oil yourself by jumping up here. Okay, so we have a locked chest here, expert level. Another collection of ingredients. Just go back to the local map. Okay. Before I head down there and deal with another bunch of Falmer, there is not much up here, to be honest. Just a Dwarven dagger. That always seems to be a Dwarven dagger. Okay, so this is the elevator that I mentioned earlier, just before I head there. There we have Sulla Trebatius's pack. We will run across Sulla in person a little later on. I'm going to head up in this elevator. Okay, so we have lots of chorus eggs, and we have a lever here which now opens the elevator from the top level. The problem is this place does respawn, so even though I've opened that, if I leave it too long before coming back, it's going to be no use to me. So here we have some ingredients, a silver ingot, and yeah, some of these ingredients are quite rare, pearls, small pearls, etc. Here we have another of the expedition members, Varley. She is a high elf, can also be used as one of the blood samples. And just over here we have a Falmer. This corpse is a fixed corpse, it's always going to be here, so this can also be used as a blood sample. So if you do come back here, you can manage to get 4 of the 5. You'll just need to find a Dunmer corpse to get the Dunmer blood sample. And you can find a Dunmer corpse at Evergreen Grove, just outside Falkreath. Okay. A tripwire there, so don't be silly enough to walk on that. Alftand Cathedral. We are almost done with Alftand. Just a potion here. Elixir of the Defender. I don't usually pick that up, to be honest, so I can't say for sure whether that is a random potion or not. Stand still, man. Okay, so an unlocked chest in there. An apprentice chest there. And a skeever. That was actually a frostbite spider when I made my practice run earlier, so that's obviously a random spawning enemy there. So a novice locked chest to be checked out there. And we can now try and open this gate, which is actually quite simple. We can first check out an adept locked chest, and there an open chest. Here is the lever to open the gate, and I'm going to try and take out this big guy from a decent range. Got you, fella. Okay, there are quite a few chests around here as well, but none on this level. We have one here, an open chest, and another open chest right there. Heading up. It's advisable to search these guys, particularly this one, who is holding the key to Alftand lift, which unlocks a master level lock. Before heading through this gate, we have another chest, apprentice locked, and we are now going to find the final two expedition members.
Let's just get out of here. Hasn't there been enough death?
Of course you want me to. Just waiting for you to turn my back, so you can have all the glory for yourself.
Umana and Sulla. Umana is holding a rare item, Targe of the Blooded, which I will take. Some of the player homes have a slot for that, so I'm going to take this elevator up and then quickly return. Okay, so this opens the elevator that I was standing in front of right at the very start of this video. So that provides a shortcut. Okay, so those elevators will actually stay open despite the fact that this place does respawn. The elevators should still be workable. Did I even look in that chest? I can't remember now if I did or not. Yeah, there we are. Another chest. Sorry about almost forgetting that. Okay, so we are now at Blackreach. I'm going to race through this place very quickly. I'm not going to engage with these enemies. I'll probably take out the chorus hunter, just because that one may chase after me. But the rest are just going to be avoided. I just want to get down to the Tower of Mzark as quickly as possible. Okay. You're not provoking me, my friend. I actually quite like Blackreach. A lot of people are not very keen on it. Tower of Mzark. So we are almost done. Okay, quite a few chests in this room. An open chest there. A novice locked chest there. Usually a random soul gem over here. Another novice locked chest. And here we have our second skill book. The Armourer's Challenge. A smithing skill book. Okay, I think that's everything. Yep. If I have missed any chests, please do let me know. Okay, so we are now going to be transcribing the lexicon. We need to place that in its receptacle. There we are. And we can ignore this first button. We'll need to activate this second button, I think 4 times. We need to keep hitting this button until the next one to the left shows itself. There we are. So always moving to the left. And finally, the button on the far left. Remember to grab hold of the lexicon so it can be returned to Septimus. I once left this place, leaving the lexicon behind, and I actually didn't open any of the lifts, so I had to travel right through Alftand again to come back for it. Okay, so there we are, folks. My next job is to give the lexicon to Septimus. I hope people have found this useful. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.